Cool. Guys, welcome back. Hopefully you liked Zach's speech. I definitely would love to stay at hotels for free. Right now I have to pay like a sucker. Nick, great presentation, by the way. Really loved it. Question for you guys. How many of you yesterday, if any, went and implemented anything we went over last night? So what'd you guys do? Surfing? Nice. How are the results looking so far? Is it too early to tell? Yeah. Anybody else? Okay. Nice. Hell yeah, man. Good job. Shit works if you put it into action. Anybody else implement anything?
I did a lookalike intersecting, and from breaking even on my campaign, I went to 100 hours.
Nice. Hell yeah. She did the, if you guys in the other side of the room, she did the lookalike intersecting in Quiet that I mentioned, and went from break even on a specific campaign to 100% ROI just from that. It's funny, on a lot of the class action lawsuit stuff that I did, that was the lookalike intersecting actually was the only way I could be profitable, because that stuff is so super targeted and hard to find. Okay, cool. So here's day 2. Let's go ahead and just jump right in. So this is a really, really cool method that I've never done in any of my speeches, and I've never mentioned it in any of the groups. So this is something that all of you have probably never heard of or seen before. I call it the POP method. Working on a better name, but for now we'll call it the POP method. How many of you guys are familiar with pop unders, pop overs? A few people. Anybody ever bought pop over, pop unders? A couple of you only. Okay, so the way that it works is you can target people. So you know those annoying pop-ups, right? It's typically because you have like adware on your computer. The way it works is there's ad platforms where people can go in and buy those pop-ups that you're getting on your computer, okay? And you can target by URL that the person's going to. You can target by a search query they're typing into Google, okay? Or a keyword in the URL, etc. Okay. What you're doing is you're buying these pop-ups. Okay. It costs roughly 1 penny per pop-up that you buy. Okay. Sometimes 2 pennies. And then I find that basically 1 in 3 of these users, on average, are logged into Facebook on that browser, and you can put them in a custom audience, basically. How many of you guys have ever bought Google AdWords traffic, like search traffic? The expensive stuff, right? You guys know those clicks cost like $2, $3, $5, $10, $30 even, right, for a click. That stuff can get really expensive, especially for those really good keywords, right? So what this method does is it allows you to get those same people you would have paid $5 for or $10 for 3 pennies, okay? So this is absolutely massive, okay? I'm going to go through a couple slides in a minute, but these are the companies that you can buy from. Propelmedia.com, formerly TrafficVance. That's probably the highest quality one, I would say. 50onred.com and mediatraffic.com. Probably my favorite 3. There's a bunch of others also, so those are just my top 3 though. So I'm going to show you guys exactly kind of how it looks when you set it up. So this is setting up a new campaign. This specific screenshots here that I'm going to go over are all from 50onred. Okay. So you go through, and it's a simple campaign process. We're talking like night and day easier than Google or Facebook or any of those. Okay. So you just go through, name your campaign, pick like which category you're in. Okay. Then you go through and say, okay, what countries do you want to target, right? Then you go in and say, okay, you know, what do you want, desktop or mobile? What browsers do you want, and so on. I would recommend doing desktop only. You have a higher chance of them being logged in to Facebook. Okay, and then you choose your base bid. It recommends your bid. So I bid usually 2 pennies, nothing crazy. And then you can do a frequency cap. So a lot of people, they'll buy these and they'll actually try to make money on these pop-ups, right? And you can make money on these pop-ups, but it's kind of a hassle. People don't really like pop-ups. It's a bitch, right? So a lot of those people will have high frequency caps. So I'd recommend, though, for this, that you do a frequency cap of 1 impression for every 24 hours, which is the least you can do, okay? And then budget, I usually just throw $50 a day at it per ad platform, but you can do literally whatever, as much as you want or as little as you want. And then you're choosing in here your targets. Okay, so this is where your pop-up's going to pop up, right? So in here, so for me, I'm doing anyone that types in Facebook ads course into Google. Okay, anyone that types in Facebook ads mastermind into Google. Okay, anyone that goes to business.facebook.com. All right, in their browser. I'm getting those people, I'm getting pop-ups on their computer, okay? Digitalmarketer.com, facebook.com/business. Anyone that goes to Shopify, anyone that goes to Adespresso, johnloomer.com, Nicholas Kuzmich, clickfunnels.com, okay? And what I'm doing is I'm getting these people in my custom audience, and then I can retarget them on Facebook, okay? Where they trust the ads. People don't trust pop-ups. People hate pop-ups, right? But I'm getting those people in a custom audience, these really, really high intent, super, super targeted people, and then I get to retarget them on Facebook, okay? And then you're creative. You have to do like a creative, right? It just asks you to name it, and you type in your destination URL. Boom, it's literally that easy. It just has to be a page on your website where you can custom audience it with your pixel on it. You can even do what I always sometimes recommend also, is doing a blank page, okay? No logo, nothing on it. Literally, it's just white. And you just put your Facebook pixel on it, okay? So that it loads super fast, right? And they don't see your brand name or anything, so they're not like gonna be pissed off by you, You can optionally try to make some money from it. I mean, you could, but I personally usually just do like no content. Yeah. 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 That's correct. That part depends actually on what ad platform you do. Like Propel Media is mostly adware, 50 on Red, most of them are mostly adware, yes. Okay, and then all you have to do is make a custom audience then of whatever URL you're using, whatever URL you're driving these people to in the pop-up. You just make a custom audience of that in Facebook, okay? And then target that in your ad set, right? You can think about this, okay? How many of you guys would love to target your competitors? People that go to your competitors' pages, right? What about people that go to your competitors' carts? What about people that hit your competitors' thank you pages? You can literally target these people, okay? You can target people that go to whatever industry you're in, the industry blogs. You can get people that are going to typing in like the best keywords into Google that usually would cost you a fortune. But now you can get these people for a fraction of the price. And imagine then the lookalikes that you get from these really, really high intent users, okay? The lookalikes from these are also like worth a lot of money beyond just the retargeting. The retargeting alone is worth a lot. But you get so many people, at 3 cents, you're getting for every dollar you spend, you're getting like 30 people in your audience, which is really, really, really awesome for literally $1. So any questions on this? Kind of an out of the box thinking thing, but it's literally, I had one guy in the Australian mastermind about a year ago, and I talked to him the other day, and he said that just from this alone, he's made $300,000 in the past year, like just from doing this.
You said about only 3 months from Facebook, so the other 60%.
You just don't get them in your audience. If you want, though, you could like throw like a YouTube pixel on there or some other pixels to retarget them elsewhere also.
What's, I mean, obviously it is for keywords and stuff, what's like kind of volume people that all these kind of networks that you can get?
That totally depends on like how, because it's a lot of folks that are, I'd say like age 35 plus mainly, like that download some sort of toolbar or Weatherbug or Alexa toolbar or something like that. That's the AdWord that got them in. But it's also based on younger demographics that download like games and stuff like that. So the demographics are all over the place. They've got a pretty good array of everybody. And then it's going to be dependent on how niche what you're doing. Like if you're hitting people that go to like sporting goods section of Amazon, there's tons of people, right? Or specific products on Amazon. Anything that's high traffic, you're going to get a good amount of users. If it's low traffic, obviously you're not going to get that many. It's only a percentage of everyone that goes to business.facebook.com has that ad run it. But everyone that does, at least like one of them. So the volume is going to depend. But you can easily spend $50 to $100 a day that way. Yeah. Any other questions on the topic there? Everyone understand it? thing about these pop-up networks is there's like no rules or anything. It's really easy.
What was the site that you recommended?
The site, so the question on the live stream is the site I recommend is propelmedia.com. That's probably the best one. The next best one I say is 15onred.com. And then mediatraffic.com. If you just Google like pop-up traffic or pop under traffic, so pop over is when it pops like right in front of your face. Pop under is when it like goes under the browser. So I would usually opt for the pop under. People can't hear me? How's the audio looking?
Check your audio test, Mike.
Oh, the fact that. Any other questions? Or wait for better? Yeah. Go. Audio good. Check, check, check. Cool. Yes. Absolutely. Yeah, and you can you could break up your campaigns, for example, and like do like a UTM code or something, and send like the specifically very very high quality search query terms into one audience, and then look like that, and then have like the more broad like people that are just hitting your competitor sites. That's a little less targeted, still targeted, but a little less. And then have that a different UTM code, so you can put those into a different custom audience and look like them. But yeah, it crushes. Oh my God, yeah. Less so on Macs, but yes, it's even a thing on mobile too now. It's usually porn sites. It's games. You want to play a game, you have to like install this plugin. They get you in all sorts of ways, Questions? No. Okay, cool. All right, let's move forward. So the next thing I want to go over is a couple tools that I really like. One of them is Companion Labs. How many guys use Companion Labs? Like 2 of you? Crazy. All right, yeah, you better be. So Companion Labs is really, really cool. It basically like automates your manual bidding, which is kind of a weird sentence. And what it does is it's a scaling technique. This is not like a testing technique. You want to typically use this for ad sets that are already proven. Okay, and basically what it does is it breaks your ad sets. You pick a specific ad set to do it on, and it'll break that ad set into 13 different ad sets, all with different manual bids that are all within like a suggested range, so to speak. So it's basically trying to find like the perfect pocket of bid where you get like the right pocket of people. So it's kind of a cool little interesting method. You can also use this with the Boolean method if you want. And this is important too. You got to make sure when it breaks down your ad set into 13 ad sets, it breaks down the budget equally also by 13. So you need to up the budgets on each ad set to make sure you're getting enough merchants. Otherwise, your ad sets will typically just like die out. Yeah. This is really powerful for retargeting. You can do things like retarget only users that scroll down the page. Okay, those users are worth like 5 times more than a user that just hits the top of the page. You can retarget only users that spend like at least 20 seconds on your site. This alone I've seen can reduce retargeting costs by half. Just that. Stuff like that is amazing. For a couple of examples for e-com. You can retarget users on desktop who initially visited on mobile. You can target email subscribers who opened or clicked on your emails, or maybe they opened Turned it back on.
Full bars?
It says full bars, yeah. Let's just try it for now and just keep me posted on the audio if you can. And if it happens again, we'll switch it or something. Okay, cool. So then what this tool also allows you to do is you can easily find a lot of new interests. I'm guilty of this also sometimes too. Is you'll go into Facebook and start targeting stuff, start typing stuff into the targeting box, right? If you're promoting shoes, you're going to type in like shoes, Nike, athletic wear, stuff like that, right? Certain sports maybe that the shoes would be used for. But that's the kind of stuff that everyone's doing, right? And then you're looking at like the suggested ones that Facebook gives you in the little box. You click some of those, and boom, you're done with your campaign, and you like really hope that they all work, right? There's like a little meeting on Facebook, and that's very, very small percentage. You're missing out on like a ton of targeting options that you do get in tools, third-party tools, especially this one. What this one does is you can type in a few of those keywords or whatever that you normally type into Google anyway, or sorry, into Facebook. And instead of giving you just like 10 suggested options, it gives you like 1,000, okay? And then you can automatically select, 300 of them, boom, and it'll throw them in an ad set for you in your ad account automatically, so you don't have to copy and paste also. What's cool too is if there's, let's say there's 1,000 interests that it gives you, kind of a hassle to sort through all those, right? Well, you can automatically layer them where it says, okay, the first 300, narrow further, the next 300, narrow further, the next 300. So it like intersects all those audiences together, which gives you like super, super targeted audiences. And again, it does it like for you in the ad account, so you don't have to like copy and paste a bunch of stuff. One thing it also does, which is really cool, is you get reporting in your ad set on a per interest breakdown. A lot of people say like, should I do one interest per ad set? How do I know, if there's a lot of interest in one ad set, how do I know which one is performing, in that, right? So this will actually give you a breakdown on your ad set per interest, so that you know what's actually working. And at the time, they have a 30-day free trial, and then I think it's like $100 a month, something like that. And I believe that it's like, I think you can buy it like outright for $250 one-time fee or something. It's pretty cheap. Any questions on Connect.io? So the URL, I believe, is connectio.io. Yeah, a lot of IOs happening there, right? All right. So now we're going to go over budget scaling strategies, okay? So a lot of people recommend that you do 10 to 30% budget bumps every 1 to 3 days. I call it gambling. I don't think that's smart. I'm not really a gambler. Literally, this is how I feel when I do this. I just like you're praying. You just put all your chips on the board, and you're just like praying that it does good tomorrow, So one way is to start with high budgets, okay? When you already have high budgets, it's a lot easier to scale. It's a lot easier to go from $1,500 a day to $3,000 than it is to go from like 100 to 200. The variance in your price is going to make it's just a lot easier to scale when you're already at a high budget. And just because you say your budget's really high doesn't mean you actually have to spend that. Okay, you could set an ad set budget at $1,000, and you could just cut it at 8 a.m. if it's not performing well. You don't have to let it spend that full amount. But if it is profitable, why not? Then it's already going to spend $1,000. You don't have to up the budget. Okay, so you're already like pre-scaled. If that makes sense. Next would be obviously new targeting, new placement, new countries, etc. For scaling. That should be fairly obvious. Next would be duplicating ad sets. I call it like AA testing or scaling out widthwise, horizontally, however you want to look at it. That's another strategy also. I would use it sparingly though. Too much duplicating of exact ad sets is going to cause some auction overlap typically. So don't make like 20 copies of an ad set. Maybe do like 1 or 2 copies max. That seems to do okay. Once you get at high budgets, once you get much past that, you start stepping on your toes. All right, and then surfing, of course. So surfing, for those of you that may not know what it is it's pretty simple actually. It's really just increasing your budget during the day if your ad set is doing well. It's that simple. You just have to have at least 8 to 10 conversions for the day before you do it. Otherwise, you risk losing money, basically. But as long as you have that minimum 8 to 10 conversions, and it's ideally earlier than noon, so in the morning, then you can literally just double your budget. How many of you guys saw? Yes, question. Yeah, it works on auto bid as well. It doesn't have to be on manual bid. I find that it works a little bit better on manual bid. Well, actually, Facebook, when you manual bid, also is still technically changing your bid on the back end. Actually, they just don't really tell you that. So that's why I like to bid really high, because then even if they're lowering it on the back end a little bit, it's still really high. Yeah. Say that again. Am I increasing the budget at 12? No, I'm increasing. Okay, so let's say you have 10 ad sets going, maybe, right? You wake up, it's like 8 in the morning, right? Let's say that you have a few ad sets that have 10 conversions at 100% ROI. These ad sets are doing killer. Boom, 100%, like bump those budgets 2x. If they're at 1,000, put them to 2,000. If they're at 100, put them at 200. Whatever it is, just literally double it. Then you wait a few hours, okay? It's 8 o'clock, now it's 9, 10, 11, noon, okay? I like to wait like 3-4 hours, then see, okay, did I take a little ROI hit? Maybe you went down to only 90% ROI now, something like that. Usually you will take a small hit, but because you spent so much more money, obviously you make more actual dollars. So boom, it's noon, it's ROI still good, bump it again, 100%, double it again. So you could have an ad set that starts out at like $1,000 in the morning, and then you bump it to 2,000 at 8 a.m., 4,000 at noon, 8,000 at 4 p.m. So you can bump multiple times during the day. Then typically you're going to want to reset it at midnight back to the original budget. Now what I do is, if I can surf an ad set like 3 days in a row, then what I'll do is I'll typically just leave it at a higher budget for the next day, because then I've like trained it at a higher budget. I've trained it to get more conversions a day for a few days in a row, and I won't necessarily go from 1 to 8, like that's a pretty big jump, but I'll put it at like maybe 2,000. I'll start putting it at, so. So this question is, if you have multiple ad sets doing well, repeat it again? All of them. Yeah, if you have a lot of ad sets doing well, then just surf them all. Yeah, there's no reason not to.
So if an ad set's not performing well and you kill it, do you restart the next day, or do you try to?
It's a good question. So this question was, if an ad set is not performing well, do you kill it? And if so, do you turn it back on the next day? Definitely turn it on the next day, but only do that for like a few days. If it's like shit for like 3 days in a row, typically that's my like cut it point, for like cut it for good. All right, so next, some of you guys may have seen this speech because I just did it at iStack, but I'm going to go through it quick. How many of you guys did see my Shotgun 2.0 speech? So like almost everyone. Okay, so I'm going to breeze through it really quickly then. Okay. Okay, basically it's just a CBO campaign, okay, where you need to have at least 50 to 100x the budget of whatever your cost per sale is, okay? At least 20 ad sets. It's going to be a whole mix of all different things, lookalikes, interest, broad, etc. Just basically throw shit at the wall. This is why there's the range of 20 to 40 ad sets, is based on how many conversions you're getting. The more conversions you're getting, the more you kind of need to diversify and spread it out a little bit, which is why you need more ad sets, okay? So, if you're getting 50 to 200 conversions daily on the whole campaign, then I'd say about 20 to 30 total ad sets you start with. If you're doing 200 plus conversions, then more like 30 to 40 total ad sets. All right, basically you can bid however you want. I typically will just do lowest cost. Conversion window wise, it's really whatever. Like if most people convert day one, then I would do 1 day. If people do take, if it's higher ticket or something like that, then I do 7 day. Anything that takes longer than 1 day to convert. Okay. Then this part's important. Let's assume you have like a $20 cost per purchase, and you want to say, okay, I want to get 100 sales a day. Then you set your daily budget at 2,000, right? 20 times 100. And this is really the important part, okay? And this is crucial. So in your ad set settings, when you turn campaign budget optimization on your campaign, right? You actually get this new setting in the ad set on the ad set level that you don't get normally, which is a minimum and maximum spends, okay? So this is really important. I find that without this piece, CBO actually in general doesn't work very well. So this is crucial. So what I do is I'll set the minimum ad set budget at about 2x my cost per sale. Sometimes I'll go 3 or 4x depending if the budget allows for it, but 2x at least. So you're giving each ad set a chance to get at least 2 sales. And if it gets at least 2 sales, then Facebook will start allocating more budget there. If it doesn't, then Facebook will start allocating budget to the ones that are getting a good cost per sale automatically. And then I would recommend you set this maximum budget also. So I would usually set the maximum ad set budget at 25% of the overall budget. So if you have like 20 ad sets, you don't want one spending like half your budget, you know? It's just a little risky. So I always set the maximum at 25% just to be safe. Okay, and then you're just gonna have like, you know, whatever you normally do creative-wise, you know, a few video ads, a couple link ads, etc. Make sure you're sharing post IDs, super important. We went over that yesterday. Lock and load, here we go. All right, and then you do, so then you just basically cut anything that's not profitable at 6 to 8 a.m., okay? This is gonna be stuff that, sorry, not anything that's not profitable, that's not until later. What you're doing now is you're cutting stuff that has like no sales or is terribly unprofitable, like the worst stuff. If stuff is like close to break even, you know, it needs a little more data, you're gonna keep letting it run, okay, a little longer. So basically, let's say you're starting with 20 ad sets, around 6 to 8 a.m., you're probably gonna get rid of 5. You're probably gonna have 5 ad sets that just suck, okay, so get rid of them. And you're gonna start out the day at like negative 50% ROI. That's just typical, you just have to like be aware of that. Next, you're gonna wait like another, you know, 3 to 6 hours, depending on how much you're spending daily. The more you're spending, obviously, the less you can wait because you have more data faster. So around noon, you're gonna pause anything. Now you pause anything that's not breaking even at least, okay? Even if it's not, even if it's by $1, okay, get rid of it. You gave it a fair chance. So now you should be at about break even for the day, okay, overall. All right, then you're gonna wait another few hours and basically same thing, just cut anything that's not profitable on an ad set level, okay? By now, you should be at about 25% ROI, something like that. And then the rest of the day is gonna be like pure profit because you have all your best ad sets running. And then you just reset everything for tomorrow. You literally turn all your ads back on, all your ad sets back on, okay? And do this for at least 3 days, all right? Then after 3 days, you're gonna start cutting your worst ads, okay? Not ad sets. You are not touching your ad sets yet, all right? You go in, you turn off your bad ads first. A lot of times I find that you'll have like you know, if you have like, let's say 5 or 6 ads in there, there'll be just that 1 or 2 ads that just like suck, that sucked your budget up and it made the ad set look bad, okay? But you might have a couple good ads in there, so you don't want to ditch the ad set for good yet. So you just pause the bad ads, okay? Then you wait another 2 or 3 days, all right? Then you start cutting ad sets that are bad. Because if by then, if your ad sets still aren't performing, then it's time to cut them, okay? And then if you want to get a little more advanced with this, you can increase or decrease those minimum ad set spends or minimum ad set budgets based on your performance. So you could say, you know, if you find that you need a little more data, maybe instead of a $40 minimum, you make it like an $80 minimum per ad set or something. Again, it's going to be, you're going to have to play with this depending on your specific niche. And then this is important too. Only add more ad sets and creatives like as needed. If everything's going great, you're making good money, you're surfing it up, you know, keep increasing your profit. Don't like fuck with it. Don't add a bunch of new ads. Don't add a bunch of new ad sets. That could screw it up. Okay. If you want to test stuff, that's cool. Do it in a different campaign. Totally fine. Okay. But don't mess with a working campaign. That's the biggest thing. All right. And then surfing, which we just went over. You do this with this method also, and it just crushes. So basically, every single time you're going and pausing those bad ad sets, you should be surfing up good ones. To do that, you could either raise the entire budget on the campaign if you want, if you have enough conversions. You want to have at least 25 to 30 conversions with CBO on the campaign, okay? Ideally more, but that's the minimum. And then you can also mess with that minimum ad set spend. Instead of at 40, let's say you have an ad set that's just crushing it, up that minimum ad set spend to like 300 or something. So it forces spend to go to there, if that makes sense. And then if you do that, if you up the minimum ad set spend and increase the campaign budget simultaneously, it pushes budget where you want it, basically. So when you do those together, it works really, really well.
I know you say you'll reset the budgets.
Mike.
I know you say you're going to reset the budgets. Do you reset the minimums and maximums as well on a daily basis?
That's a good question. Yes, I would definitely reset them. If you made a big change to it, then absolutely, yeah. Cool. So yeah, we just went over this. Basically, do it with to surf it up. You make a lot of money. Went over this. I don't want to spend much time on this because we already went over it. So I'm just going to take a couple seconds on each slide so that they're in the presentation and you guys can refer back to it when you watch the replay. So you got the stop loss rule where you basically are just cutting stuff that has no sales, okay? So you have a set limit you're willing to spend on each ad or ad set before you cut it. I usually do 2x the CPA on ad level and 4x the CPA on an ad set level, okay? Per day. For trim the fat is like the rule that cuts stuff that's not profitable. It has sales, it's just not profitable. So you cut that. Noon cutoff, again, like I said, you want to cut anything at noon that's not profitable. Even if it's by $1, you could base this on cost per lead, cost per sale, ROAS, whatever the important metric is for you, base it on that. Okay, then a safety net. Facebook updates the spend before they update the conversions. So you need that safety net in case one of your rules turns off an ad because it has high spend and no conversions, but then those conversions update, in 15, 20 minutes later. So now the ad actually was profitable. So you need the safety net rule to turn it back on. All right, and then a restart everything rule. You could do this manually for the first few days, even for the first week maybe, or you can automate it. Something like, if it spent more than $1 yesterday and the time is between noon and 1 a.m., turn it back on. And this will just turn all your stuff back on for you. All right, and then if you do it right, this is what it looks like. All right, so you got at the top, you got your stop loss. It's cutting anything over $40. You've got the noon cutoff here, okay? And you've got trim the fat. And if you want to get more advanced with trim the fat, you can have it so like it's cutting stuff at a higher CPA, between like 1 a.m. and noon. And then from noon to midnight, you could be cutting stuff at an even lower CPA. Because you might have some ad sets that are like barely profitable, but they are profitable, so your rules aren't cutting them. But you have ad sets that are really profitable and you prefer that your spend goes there. So sometimes you do want to cut ad sets that are profitable because you want your spend to be allocated to your really good ad sets that are making you way more ROI, right? So that's why sometimes I would even cut, like I'm cutting $20 is the break even. So sometimes you're even cutting stuff here that is profitable to reallocate your budget basically automatically with CPO to your good ad sets, your best ad sets rather. So again, this is how it's going to look, typically again, right? It's going to be a little different for everybody. But usually you're going to be around negative 50% ROI in the morning. By noon, you should be about break even. And end of the day, it's going to depend on how good you did, but you should be, anywhere from 25% ROI to 100% ROI, somewhere in that range or higher. It could, totally dependent on you, but that's roughly how it should play out. Okay, and then just optimize and profit. Do what you normally do. A few days, pause bad ads, then pause bad ad sets, and so on. All right. Any questions before we go into some automated rules? You guys have seen the speech twice now, but basically, so you should be, yeah. Good question. So he's asking, how do you basically deal with ad sets that aren't, Facebook's not reporting properly, right? Because those could get cut because of the rules. You just have to kind of take that into account. So if you know that like it's typically off by 20%, let's say, then you just need to factor that into the rules. Factor that into like the cost per sale or whatever you're doing. You just have to kind of factor that in. Yeah.
So I'm curious overall, like with all of your methods, like how do you take a holistic framework to like basically set these up across an ad account or a brand? Like I'm sure it's kind of like objective based, but like, you have all these different things that you can do. Like, are you just mainly doing one at a time or like running
when you say that, you mean like different methods?
Yeah,
or?
like you're running like shotgun and then also some of these other methods. Like how do you test for creatives?
I should put the slide in here too. It's a lot of slides back, so I don't want to click all the way to it. But basically, You start with the 3-day method. Okay, that's like the testing framework. Okay, so you start with that. Let me just go back to the slide. Actually, it makes this easier.
So is the 388 specifically for like verifying creatives?
Verifying creatives, verifying audiences, verifying your landing page. Should be almost there now. Oh, this is way further than I thought. Okay, forget it. But yeah, so you start with the 3-8. I gotta click all the way through again. Yeah, right. I try. Let's go through these real quick. Okay, we're almost back to where we were. Almost there. Pop method. Okay, we're close. All right. Oh my God. Okay. Okay. There we go. So yeah, so 3-8 is the testing framework that I use, and that's just to find winning ads, winning audiences, and making sure your landing page is converting. It's just to make sure everything's good to go. You don't want to like spend like a massive amount of money if like you need to take a whole different angle, or if your landing page is just converting like crap or whatever, right? So that's just to like validate and test and make sure like some stuff is working, right? And then you know, if only a couple ads work, maybe you want to throw some more ads in there, try some new audiences. Once you kind of have everything like figured out and you want to scale, that's when you move to either the cloud method or depending on how much you want to spend, you could go right to the shotgun from there. The cloud method we're going to go over in a second here. I think actually, I don't even know if I have it in here. I might have to pull up a different PowerPoint, but yeah, so then I would typically, so what I would do is I would go 3-8 and I'd probably go right to shotgun from there personally. But yeah.
And how many campaigns are you running for one brand at one time?
Typically only like 3 or 4. Like there'll be like the conversions campaign, then there'll be with the shotgun, then there'll be a PPE, a retargeting campaign, maybe like a video views. That's pretty much it. If you look at any of my ad accounts, it's like I typically have like less than 15 campaigns in there. Tons of ad sets and stuff, but not that many campaigns because I like to keep all the data together when I can. I find when you keep like every time you make a new campaign, you're almost starting from scratch. Obviously, there's some data on the ad account level also, but you're almost starting from scratch, which sucks. So I try to keep everything if I can in the same campaigns. Yeah.
Do you have a key metric or KPI between percentage of budget that you've got between your conversion campaign, your PPE, and your return?
Okay, good question. So like how basically he's asking what percentage of the budget do I allocate where? So generally retargeting most of the time is going to be like 10 or 15% of the budget maybe. It's kind of rough. It depends how much you're spending on the cold on prospecting. Then PPE will usually end up to be about 2% of the budget, and prospecting will be the rest. So about like 80%.
How do you counter the bias of the second 2.0 CDO? Because like I found that when I cut some asset, I add some new asset into it, and it's always spend all the money on the existing asset.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I typically don't recommend that you throw existing ad sets in there because you have to optimize down to your good ones. So you're going to be starting with like 20 to 40, but then you're going to get down to like 10 to 20. Like half of them. Basically, you're going to be cutting a bunch, and then you want to like ride up your really good ones. Then once those kind of start dying out, then once you pause it, then throw a new ad set in there. Yeah, so I would try literally not to do new audiences at all until I'm basically all my ad sets or most of them have died out. And then I just pause them all and put new ad sets in the existing campaign so it can still use the data, but then only have my new ad sets turned on. So then it's like forced to spend on them.
So for my conversions, I always use the same campaign for like all my testing. Should I do the shotgun campaign, test in that same campaign where I hold that dial?
Yes, as long as you don't mind converting it to CBO if it's not CBO already. Yeah, yeah.
You can go without CPO still.
Yeah, you can still do the old shotgun, if you will, shotgun 1.0, and it's the same kind of thing, just without CBO. Yeah, totally, yeah.
I know for the 388 method, you have a video views campaign objective. You put static images in that campaign still,
You
though,
can't,
right?
no. You can't put
So-
images in a video views campaign.
So when you duplicate that out across conversions, video views, do the conversion objective ones have static images or no?
Yeah, yeah. The conversions will have 1 or 2 static images and then a few videos, and then I'm just duping those ads, just the video ones, into video views, and then I'm duping all the ads though into PPE, so they're all getting engagement. Yeah, good question though. Hmm?
So if you're running like shotgun and basically actually not that great, do you then create that same campaign?
Typically, no. Typically, you have a good idea of what audiences are good and what creative type you need, and your lander's already going to be pretty optimized. So typically, I'll just use the existing campaign, throw some new ad sets in there or new ads, whichever kind of you felt burned out. Yeah, typically then I'll go I'll just go right back to where I was, yeah, it might take a couple days to kind of warm up, but because of the shotgun approach where you have so many ad sets and so many ads, there should be some winners in there. And as long as the budget's high enough, then you have enough data to quickly kill the losers, scale the winners up same day. So yeah, I just typically go right back to it. All right, so here's some advanced automated rules. I always have those ones I give before. Those are the 5 golden rules, I call them now. But these rules are really nice. This is stuff that you guys will find that you're doing all the time manually. And if you can automate some of this stuff, it makes your life so much better, okay? So this one I call the trailing stop loss. This is just looking for anything that over the past 3 days hasn't gotten any sales so that you cut it for good, okay? So this is, will look something like a pause, the ad, if the spend is greater than 6 times the CPA. Because remember, I gave it two times the CPA per day. So for 3 days, that's 6x, right? So pause if it's spent at least 6x and over the last 3 days and has 0 purchases. And then on the ad set level, I'll do the same thing, but I give it double the budget, so 12x the CPA. You cut it with no conversions. Okay. Then similar concept, trailing trim the fat. It's just looking for anything that spent enough money and is not profitable over the last 3 days, and then it cuts it. All right. This one's pretty cool, called Pump the Brakes. This one is running on the ad set level because it's going to decrease the budget. With CBO, you'd have to run it on the campaign level, okay? But basically, it decreases the budget slightly, by 10%, if you're not profitable, okay? And then you can run it hourly or every couple hours, depending on your budget. And basically, because Facebook is automatically changing your bid on the back end, when you suddenly decrease the budget 10%, it automatically lowers your bid for you, and it'll deliver cheaper traffic. Now, this won't really help you if you're really unprofitable. This is more if you're close to profitable. Let's say three ROAS is your target, and you're at a 2.5. This should put you over the edge and get you to that 3. Okay, but if you're at a 1, it's not going to get you high enough. Just as a forewarning there. Next one, surfing. So this is what you could do to surf automatically. Okay, so you don't have to do it manually. Increase the budget 100% or double it if purchases is greater than 10 and ROAS is greater than 6. Okay, so just so you know what this is doing, it has at least 10 purchases for the day, and it's at least 100% ROI. So whatever the 100% ROI to you, you just obviously change that part for yourself. But that's how you do it automated. And then you can tell it to just run once or twice a day, depending on time of day. Otherwise, if you don't set that properly, it'll literally double your budget every hour. That can be dangerous. So then I have this one, stuff that a lot of times I find that media buyers just won't look at. They just don't think to sometimes. So I call it the lifetime loser. and you're just pausing an ad if it spent 10x your CPA, so you gave it a lot of spend, and the ROAS over the last 90 days, okay, and the ROAS is below your target, okay? That's simple. It just cuts your losers that spent enough and are not good. Same thing on the ad set level. Give it 30x your CPA over the last 90 days, cut it. Okay, then you can do simple day parting also with the rules in case you guys want to day part. We've had some clients where we like turn the ad sets on from midnight to 4 p.m. or sorry, midnight to 4 a.m. Then they're off from 4 to 8. Then they're on from like 8 to noon. And then they're off for the rest of the day, and then we do it again the next day because that was like the best conversion times. Yeah.
If you do the date and harder, will Facebook still try to spend the whole daily budget within this time?
Facebook doesn't really know like when you're going to turn your campaigns or your ad sets or whatever on or off. They don't like this is in RevealBot. So if you let's say you only turned it on from 4 to 5 p.m., it is going to rush spend as fast as it can during that hour. So you basically don't want to turn your campaigns on if it's like after 8 a.m. That's kind of like the latest I would turn a campaign on for the day, because then it's already 1/3 through the day. It's going to try to rush some spend. So even that's kind of pushing it. Like I try to not do anything after 6 a.m. This is just like if you want to turn it off, you can turn it off safely for a couple hours and back on. It'll rush the spend a little bit, but not that bad because it was only off for a little bit. All right, then we got the dynamic bid bumper. Basically, increase the bid if it's not spending enough. It's fairly simple. The squeeze, okay? So basically this is for ad sets that, I kind of mentioned this yesterday, but this is for ad sets that, you have a lot of history on, they did really well, you had a lot of good creatives in there, but now you can't get that ad set to work. You tried some new creatives, it's just not working. You're gonna pause the ad set for good. Well, before you do that, you can squeeze a little bit of extra ROI out of it first. And all you do is you basically like crank the budget up, okay, and drop the bid real low. Basically like a little bit lower than your actual CPA. And that's a way you just squeeze some extra little traffic out of it at a really low cost. And that's like what the rule looks like. So this one's really cool. How many of you guys duplicate ads or ad sets? Like a constant, like a lot. A few of you. So this is good for that method also. So let's say you have like an ad or an ad set that does really, really well. Typically, I'm going to duplicate that because I want more of that, good stuff happening. So you could do on the ad level, duplicate if purchases is greater than 10 yesterday and the ROAS is higher than 3. So basically, if it got like enough data yesterday and it was profitable, then duplicate the ad or duplicate the ad set even. And RevealBot can automatically do that for you, which is cool. All right, time to get money. All right, I got some a little more random gold nuggets for you guys. Rule number 1: if it's working, don't touch it. I've mentioned this a few times during the event here, but Facebook is just so finicky that if you have a really great ad set and then you throw a new ad in there, it could completely throw it off. So just if it's working, don't touch it. Once it stops working, then go ham, start messing with it. If you really want to keep doing creative testing and stuff like that, which is a good thing to do, just do it in a different campaign. And then it's typically going to be okay. It won't really mess up with your current campaign. That's kind of, This is important. Always have backup payment methods on your ad account and try to make it a different type. So if you have like your primary is an Amex, make your secondary like a Visa or like PayPal or something. Because sometimes Facebook glitches basically and messes things up. So just have backup payment methods on your ad account. If you get too many failed payments, your cost will go up on Facebook because you're higher risk to them of not paying. So they're going to charge you a little bit extra, just like a bank would if you have a low credit score. Yeah.
Quick question. Do you know how many ad accounts you can connect to credit card to?
How many ad accounts can you connect a credit card to? Quite a few. There's not like a limit, but you want to do it. You want to add your payment method to the business manager payment methods, and then go into the ad account and assign it. There's like a thing like assign business manager payment method and do it like that. then you can do it to like as many as you want.
I think it's like 10 or 15.
Yeah, I've never put it on that many, so I don't know. But if I do know that you'll start getting flags and stuff like that if you go and you try to just add it to the ad account directly. That's when you start running into issues like fast. Yeah. If you are running into issues though when you hit 10 or 15, you should be able to hit up your rep or even chat support and get them to whitelist your payment method. Yeah. All right. Okay, a little more. So this one's cool. If you check out reachanalytics.com, you can upload your customer list or an email list, and you can get tons of insight on it. You can get a lot of the data, like third-party data that Facebook pulled out of it, right? The Axiom, Data Logics, all that nice third-party data that we don't have access to directly in Facebook anymore. You can still run it against your customer list or an email list with reachanalytics.com. You can also upload your customer list to Reach Analytics, and they will spit out a list of emails you can buy from them that are like a lookalike of your customers. So it's a pretty cool feature, and then you just dump those into Facebook. All right, this is another little cool thing. I use this all the time for subtitles for my videos. Subtitles are a huge pain in the butt to do, but you should have them on every video always. That's really important. So I use rev.com, and literally it's only $1 per minute of footage you have. And the turnaround time is like less than 1 day, and it gives you like an SRT file you just dump right into Facebook, perfectly formatted. It's like the best thing I've ever found. It's so cheap, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but then you still got to manually type stuff in, right? Yeah. That's just a hassle. This just does it for you. They do make a mistake every now and then, so I usually will read through the transcript real quick and just fix any typos. But they're usually pretty damn good, where I'm only fixing like 2 or 3 things and it's ready. Yeah.
Can you add subtitles to existing posts?
Add what?
Add subtitles to existing.
You can, yes. The question was, can you add subtitles to an existing post? Absolutely. You just have to go in there and do a customized video, put the subtitles in, and then what's cool actually was it will apply those subtitles to every video ad you have, every ad that has that video in it automatically, which is nice too. No, it will not change the post ID. All right. Next is content is always hard to get, right? Or a bitch to create, let's say. So Lumen 5 is a cool platform where if your company's already putting out content like blog posts and stuff, you can literally just throw a URL of one of your blog posts into Lumen 5, and it will automatically turn that into a video for you. It automatically pulls out images, your headlines, etc., and makes a cool little video for you. So it's just another great way to make content for cheap. All right, pixel hacking. So I always get this question like, where do I place the pixel, blah, blah, blah. There's a few ways you can hack this. You can, actually I'll go over this in a second. Big thing I see, standard events versus custom conversions. I find that custom conversions will sometimes convert better than a standard event, which is, it doesn't make sense why it would, but usually it does. But I find that standard events track better. The tracking is better. So it's kind of a trade-off. So I would test both though and see what does better for you. This one's really huge. So it was about a year and a half ago, something like that. All of our clients that were doing e-com, the costs went up across the board for everybody, and we're like, what the hell is going on? All of our lead gen clients and stuff were unaffected completely, right? So we're like, okay, it must be the purchase event. So then we started bidding on complete registrations instead of purchase. And we also tried lead instead of purchase, just calling it a different event, okay? It's the same thank you page, right? But that immediately dropped our cost like 20 or 30% and put us back into the profitable range that we needed to be in. So sometimes just bidding on a different event can be really good. Even for my own campaigns, I'll try bidding on, for example, for AdLeaks, I bidded on complete registrations, purchase, start trial. There's a bunch of different events now. They even added like 8 or 9 more. So there's a lot of events to choose. I would not only just do one. Try different ones because each event has like a different pocket or segment of people. Yep. This one's really cool too. So if you're not getting enough data, right, you need those 10 conversions a day, ideally per ad set. you can get away with a little bit less on CBO, but one little hack that you can do is do a custom conversion for like your checkout page or something and call that a purchase, okay? Purchase objective. Because I find when you bid on add to carts or other stuff, you don't get that many purchases. You get a lot of people that abandon their cart basically. So what you do is you just put a custom conversion for your cart page as a purchase, so that you're bidding and optimizing for that event. So Facebook will still feed you those good purchasers that you want, but not everyone will finish their checkout. So it's usually like 1 in 3. So basically you feed Facebook 3 times more data while still getting to bid on the event you want. So you're still getting those good quality users, but you're feeding Facebook more data. So it's just like a little hack to feed Facebook more data if you find that your budget is not quite what you want per ad set, and you don't want to bid on like add to carts or something because it doesn't usually work very well. So it's a cool little hack that does great. Any questions on this? Live stream question? That's a long question. So number 1, RevealBot doesn't do it yet on the campaign level. You just have to have a media buyer do it manually, unfortunately. So basically, should you go shotgun 1.0 until CBO is mandatory? I would start getting comfortable with CBO now, because it is going to be mandatory soon, and you don't want to like adjust to it when you're forced to. So I would start getting used to it now. Okay, next thing. So sequential video funnels. These are really, really cool. These work great for whether it's like a SaaS tool or e-com product, high ticket especially, it works great. But basically, you're just targeting cold traffic to a video. This could be like a promo video, something short and sweet, anywhere from like 30 to 45 seconds, maybe a minute max, somewhere around there. Just kind of a generalized promo video. And then you basically make an audience of people that watched at least 75% of that, and then you hit them with video 2. So then your ad set targeting would be only people that watched that video now see video 2. And then you make an audience of people that watched video 2 and show them video 3. Okay? So you can like do a little web series. You could hit them with a promo video, then hit them with like maybe some features and benefits of the product, then start hitting them with testimonials and stuff. And this way you know exactly what order they saw the videos in. Okay? And just imagine when someone gets your 95% video viewers, when they get to video 3, those people are so interested in your product, like they're hot and ready to go. Then you got to hit them with more direct response style ads, stuff like that. But these are really powerful. You can also use this for customer onboarding. I'm personally about to set up a funnel for ad leaks, where as soon as you sign up, it's going to give you like an intro video, and then after you've watched that video, it's going to tell you like about the units and learning section and how to do that. Then after you see that video, it's going to tell you about the deals, stuff like that. So you can use it as onboarding. You can use it to highlight features of your product. You can use it to throw testimonials at people. There's all sorts of ways you can do it, but it's very powerful. All right, before we get into that, I'm almost done. Where's my laptop over here now? So it looks like I forgot to add the cloud features into this. Let's see, different PowerPoint real quick. All right. All right. Let's get past all this. All right. So we all know Facebook's a roller coaster. So this is my cloud method for those of you guys that have not seen it. How many of you guys have seen my cloud method? Just a few of you? Okay. So most of my strategies are for high budget. So this one, I wanted something that worked also for pretty much anything. I wouldn't really recommend it for testing. You can use it for testing, but I would try to use it more for optimizing and scaling. All right. So this one, you need to enable CBO. Okay. It's very important. Obviously, optimizing for conversions. On this one, you're going to set your campaign level budget to 10x of your CPA at least, ideally 20 to 50x. Okay. So like I said, this is like the step in between 388 and Shotgun 2.0 is the cloud. It's for that like mid-range budget where you might not quite have the budget for you know, for scaling up quite bigger yet. So if your cost per sale is $20, then your budget should be at least $400, ideally like $1,000, something in that range. Okay, again on a campaign level. Okay, you want to do 20 to 50 ad sets to start though, a bunch of ad sets. Okay, some broad, some lookalike, some interest. You can duplicate those ad sets once or twice. Try to keep it minimal. You don't want too much overlap. Okay. This is if you're getting 10 to 20 conversions daily, you got to keep the ad sets lower to start, about 20. You know, the more conversions that you're getting, the more ad sets that you do. Pretty simple. All right. Then you're going to set your bid. You can do auto bid on lowest cost, or you can manual bid around your actual CPA. You do not want to use Boolean method with this. Okay. Set your placements. You can do automatic placements if you want, or you can select the placements that you actually really want. That part is totally up to you. Whatever you find has been working best for you up till now, I would use those settings. Okay, this is important. Only do 1 or 2 ads per ad set. This is one of the few times I recommend this. So you're only doing 1 or 2 ads per ad set, and they can be the exact same ad if you want to. They don't have to be different. Okay, and then launch it. The automated rules went over already. Cool. So that's basically the cloud method. It's basically just a lot of ad sets with only like 1 or 2 ads in each one. And then what it's doing is it's finding like different pockets of people for each one, and automatically then it will adjust your budget where you need to be. I would recommend that you set at least a small minimum ad set budget on each ad set. Also, I didn't include that in the slides, but at least 1x your CPA. Ideally 2x your CPA per ad set. And then it works really well. But it does have its limitations on scaling. So that's when you want to move to Shotgun 2.0. So again, like I said, you start 3 at 8 for testing, then you go cloud for the next one, then Shotgun 2.0 and surfing. And that's kind of the, and then if the cloud doesn't work though, and you don't have the Shotgun budget, that's when I try sneak attack. If that makes sense. All right, we got like 5 more minutes and then we're hitting lunch, so don't worry guys, I'm hungry too. All right, so this is the last part of the presentation. I always get this question like, what type of business should I start if I want to start a new one, or what should I add to my existing business to make a lot more money, period, right? So whatever it is, just make sure it's a real business. It can totally be drop shipping, okay? You just need to make sure you have like fast shipping times, so use a fulfillment center, good quality product, good customer service, just like a real good business, okay? That's the only way that you will survive long-term on Facebook or Google or any of these platforms. They're all cracking down on low-quality businesses in general, okay? You can do stuff with like lead gen. If you're doing lead gen, that's great. Get some back-end ownership, okay? For you guys doing solar, go partner with the solar company. Give them leads cheaper on the front end where you still make a little bit of money, but then get a piece of that money they're getting on the back end, okay? Or maybe buy into the solar company even, something like that. Real e-commerce, just fast shipping, good customer service, quality products, etc. Quality digital info products. I think there's a lot of opportunity in the education and training space. I think as people lose faith in the college system, they're going to be looking for education more and more on you name it, on everything. I think there's a lot of opportunity there. And subscription boxes. Subscription boxes are probably like my favorite thing. What I'd recommend is you can also make, add a subscription component to your current business. If you're an e-com store, make some sort of thing where people can pay like $5 a month and get 10% off on every order they ever do, or $10 a month, something like that. Or make a subscription box for your business also, ship them something, yeah.
What would be the easiest way to create a subscription model for like a membership on top of that store?
The easiest way would be to, you mean like to physically do it, or what should you offer?
Yeah, physically do it.
Oh, okay. Just use the Recharge app.
Was it?
It's called Recharge. Yeah. Super easy app to use. That's what I use to do a split to pay. But you can also use it for like for monthly payment.
And can you do that as like a one-click upsell at the end of the purchase?
not with that app alone. You'd have to like tie it into another app. What it does is it allows you to make a product one time or a subscription, just like Amazon does, like subscribe and save. Or you can make it so they only can do a subscription on it. But I don't think you can easily add it as like a one-click upsell. Well, that's like a subscription billing platform. Yeah. Nice. Yeah. I'll have to check that out too. Okay, so if you're going to do subscription box, I find the ideal price range is $10 to $49. Once you get much over $49, people have to like actually think about it and care about the price. You're going to get a high lifetime value with this. That's the reason also if you're doing lead gen, you need that back-end ownership. If you're doing info products, you need good margin. Prices on Facebook and Google, all the platforms are going to continue to go up and up and up. And if you don't have a high lifetime value of your customer, you will not be able to afford to stay around and keep advertising for years and years to come. So you need to prepare for that and start increasing your AOV and lifetime values, most importantly now, okay? So that when that time comes, it's easy, etc. So you need to make sure that whatever you're doing is lightweight for cheap shipping. I learned that the hard way with my bottled water company, that glass bottles and water is super heavy. So you want something that's nice and light. This is important too. Give people a combination of items, not just one, okay? If you give them just one item a month, they're going to price check that on Amazon or wherever, and if that item is cheaper somewhere else, they're going to cancel their subscription, okay? But if you give them a combination of items, think it's like let's say you're doing like a book club or something, right? Maybe give them a book, but then give them like a cool bookmark, give them like a little handwritten note, okay? Give them I don't know, a little coffee table thing, or just like add some like little bonuses in there. You know, if you're doing a beauty box, do like a little, you know, face wipe, a little like makeup thing, a little Hershey's Kiss, a handwritten note or something. Just multiple things so that the perceived value is higher. Okay. This one's good. Something you can create a community around. So like a book club, you could easily have a community or a Facebook group around that because people could talk about the books they're reading, right? You could also do you should be able to do a community for almost any kind of box though. So, and I would recommend you try a few before choosing one. So, what I would personally recommend is that you basically go to cratejoy.com, okay, and go to the trending subscriptions area. So, cratejoy.com is basically like a Shopify for subscription boxes, and they show their trending subscriptions on their site. Here's some of them for you. And you can do subscription boxes for like freaking anything. It's crazy. So there's one like art snacks where you literally get like, I don't even know what that is, art supplies every month for like starting at $24 a month. An all-girl shave club, a snack sack, monthly box with crystals, aromatherapy, etc. Soap every month, adult arts and crafts, coffee beans, chocolate, frisky fish. What the heck is that? Aromatherapy and crystals, more of that stuff. 5-star cocktails in a box. Beef jerky every month. Okay, beef jerky for Christ's sake. All right. These subscription boxes are insane. Okay, I read an article about a year ago now that said that in the UK, 12% of all disposable income are going to subscriptions. Okay, 12%, and they're only projecting that to rise. And it's only like I think 2 or 3% currently in the US, and they're projecting that to rise massively also. So there's a big opportunity in subscriptions. It doesn't have to be a subscription box. It could be a digital subscription, like AdLeaks, okay? Just anything subscription, okay? You're gonna get a good lifetime value from that, etc. Okay, a couple pro tips. Whatever your current business is, okay? This lead gen, Shopify, whatever it might be, on the thank you page, okay? And in your thank you emails, make a Facebook group or a community around your brand. It shouldn't be like necessarily labeled your brand name though. It should be more around like the niche that you're in. So if you're selling like let's say dog, I don't know, dog food or something, you should make like a I love dogs group, okay? And then funnel people into that. So they don't necessarily have to be your customers to join. But to get a bunch of free members in your group, just throw people from the thank you page, you know, to your group. Put a link in there. Hey, you're invited to join our community. It's 100% free. And then also, you know, put them in your thank you emails and so on. If you're doing like, you know, 500 leads a day or 1,000 sales a day, That's like 1,000 new members you can get in your group every day, and those groups are so valuable. We have one client, Watch Gang, and they have like 2 tiers of watches at the time. They had a $29 a month and a $99 a month. They wanted to launch a $1,000 a month product, right? So what did they do? Did they run ads, spend a bunch of money? No. They did one post in their Facebook group with 15,000 people and sold out the $1,000 a month subscription in like one day, okay? They made like, I think it was like 100 grand in one day. Okay, so groups are super valuable. So if you can create a community around no matter what your product or service is, you guys are gonna immediately increase your lifetime value over the lifetime. And it's just money. All right, and then another little pro tip, once you have that group, okay, what you can do is you can, when you make a new ad, or you find an ad that's doing pretty well, post it in your group, okay, and say, hey, any of you guys that want to leave a good testimonial for us, please comment on this ad, and we'll give you 10% off to our store if you comment. Okay, you would have given them 10% off anyway, but now you're getting a positive review. And that social proof that gives you when you're running those ads with positive customer feedback will make you convert so much better, it's crazy. All right, and that's all I got for you. So we're going to break for lunch now, and then after that, we got the pods. Yeah, see you guys in a bit. Let's eat some food.